Oh man, I really suck. I'm sorry I'm a day late. I actually didn't finish the book yesterday when I woke up in the morning, and then I spent the whole afternoon finishing it. Then I wanted to make my video and my boyfriend called, and I think we all know that after that there's going to be no video made. So to make up for that, I am going to make a video right now. I actually have to go to work in 25 minutes, but I'm going to make a video, try and keep it short, edit it, and put it on YouTube, hopefully before Chloe does. Trying to be sneaky. Anyway, as I told you last week, I am reviewing 1984 by George Orwell. You can see this sexy man. How hot is he? I really, really enjoy 1984. I actually had to read it for a class this semester. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill my bird. Anyway, I actually had to read it for a class this semester, but most of my friends read it in high school, so I thought that I should review it since I have that perspective of never reading it in high school and reading it now as a college student. One of my huge questions while I was reading 1984 was, when was it published? How much of history had already happened that influenced the knowledge that he has about, or his predictions of the future? According to my book, it was published in 1949, which means that World War II already happened. The book is supposed to be the year 1984, which has already happened, so reading it now kind of takes the effect away, though it's still just as scary. I wonder what people thought during the year 1984, if people who have read the book were kind of like, huh. But the novel's main character's name is Winston Smith, and he's part of the Ministry of Truth, which deals with rewriting newspapers and articles and books and basically history. The party has these slogans that to us seem contradictory, like freedom is slavery, or God is power, and stuff like that, and you don't really understand what that means until the very end of the book. The book comes in 3 parts. Part 1 is Winston kind of internalizing these doubts about the party and wondering what life would be if there was ever a different time, what it would be in a different time. You find out in the story that there have been these mass executions of people that were born before the 50s, so people who have lived through World War I, World War II, they were all killed off so that they could not tell their offspring what it was like in a different time. He also has these memories of his mother, his sister, people before. He kind of knows that that everything that has been going on has not always been going on, which is something that apparently nobody else knows, or if they do know, they're suppressing it. So it kind of like sets up that, like, how much does everybody else know and is ignoring, or are they actually genuine in that they have no idea that the party has never never always existed. Part 2 is mostly Winston's relationship with this woman named Julia, who also works in his department, and it kind of brings in the whole freedom. He thinks he's free and everything. And then you get to part 3, and I'm not going to tell you anything that happens in part 3. It is by far the most terrifying part of the entire novel, and I have never read a book, possibly besides Harry Potter, where I would read entire pages and just, like, I would be in the beginning of the paragraph and I would skip to the end of the paragraph because I was so eager to know what happened that I could not physically keep myself, like, patiently going through all the words. I was so upset by what was happening and so absolutely amazed that human beings could do what they were doing. It also makes you think a lot. You know, is 1984 a possible future for humans? Is it a reality now? You know, they have telescreens in all the rooms of the houses that basically it's kind of like a TV that you can watch, but also people can watch you. And they're placed in strategic areas in the room where there's no hiding spots. Books are completely eliminated. They're also making a new language called Newspeak, which has basically eliminated all verbs. they have gotten rid of words that we don't need, and their goal is so that future generations that are only taught Newspeak will no longer be able to read books like Pride and Prejudice or Shakespeare or the Bible. And that's their goal, is to completely control human minds. They also have these people called the thought police, which when I first started reading the book, I was like, oh, they can read minds? That's super creepy, but they can't read minds. That's, I guess, the whole point of the novel, is the one thing that cannot control is your mind. But these thought police basically follow you around like hawks and wait for you to commit a thought crime, which means doubting the party, doubting the future of the government, thinking something against Big Brother, and then they basically bring you to the Ministry of Love, which is the place where you will be tortured until you're insane and then killed. So it's pretty scary because, again, I'm an English major and my whole world is books. I'm reading this through a book. This entire channel is devoted to literature, and in this book it proposes what happens when you can't depend on the written word. No newspaper is completely true. They have been edited again and again and again. If Big Brother says they're going to lose a battle and they win the battle, they just edit it so that Big Brother said that they were going to win the battle. Big Brother is always right. He's always watching. And that thought that you cannot depend on anything anymore is absolutely terrifying to me. So I guess my questions for anybody who has read this book, what did you think of part 3, without giving any spoilers away for those who haven't read it, because it's really shocking. Do you think that this could ever happen, or will ever happen? And also, what do you think is the future, saying that 1984 will happen? Do you think that Big Brother will live forever? Do you think that Winston was right when he said that somebody will eventually come and overthrow their government? Do you think that the proles will rebel and take over the government, or do you think it's what O'Brien said, that it's completely hopeless? So leave your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. And I completely recommend this book, especially if you're in high school. Reading this book will put a new perspective on everything, especially when you're studying history. It's also very helpful when you get into college, because it's on apparently a lot of reading lists. I'm reading it now because I'm taking a Paradise Lost class and we're reading about the fallen world. So yeah. Oh, and apparently there's a movie that was made, and it's really hard to get, so if you can get it, watch it, because I've been told that it was done like a splendid interpretation of the book, especially the end. So I do recommend you read the book first, because it is... Do you notice on the whole video he hasn't made a sound, and now that I'm getting ready to wrap up, he's like, whatever. So please read the book. I'm really, really, really sorry I'm late. If you'd like to punish me, you can. Though you should punish... I'm not even going to try and blame other people. It was my fault. So yeah, so I have about 20 minutes left before I have to go to work. I'm going to try and edit this video, and I will see you all next week.